Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to be showing you how to germinate cactus from seeds. We've been doing this for a very long time. Well, I haven't since I'm pretty young. My dad has, at least for I'd say above 40 plus years. So we got a lot of great experience, and there's going to be a lot of techniques and tips on how to get your cactus to germinate better, including different environments where you should put them, and then just some examples of different types of cactus we get germinated.
Yeah, so I get most of the seeds from my own plants, and I put them in these bottles to organize them. Ariocarpus, the Mamillaria, you can get literally thousands of seeds, some of them, but some of the other ones, they just don't produce as many seeds, so that's why they're harder to find and probably more expensive. You can even find them. I don't have any of the new varieties. There's Epithelanthibochii, because all the new discoveries, because no one I know in America really sells them. They seem to all be European sellers, or you go on eBay and they're like too expensive. So anyways, I just keep growing my own stuff. I will trade sometimes seeds. The Ariocarpus, Astrophytums, Echinocactus horizontaloneus. These are really hard to germinate. These Astrophytum asterius, these are very easy to germinate. And they all fall in between hard and easy. Mammillarias, you just can get a lot of them. Guelzaliana. If they shoot fruits out, they're pretty easy to germinate. These I've had, these Hedrarii. Someone gave me these. I've had these forever. They're probably still good. I think seeds like this will last 5, depending on the species. These will probably last a long time, these hard to germinate ones. But like the Ariocarpus, they only last a few years. And then the germination rate goes way down. These are lithops seeds. These things are dust small. There's a bunch of them in there, but they're very small. These are Mamillaria herrerae seeds. They grow in these pods underneath the spines. So they're sort of hard to extract from the plant. And they don't always germinate that great, but I have a lot of plants, so I pollinate them, not heavily, but that way I get my own seeds and continue to try. They're fairly rare. The Mamillaria Sanchez Mejorade, they're even harder to get out of the plant body, but they sometimes take even months to sprout. You just alternate wet and dry, try to give them different temperatures, and try to get them to germinate. Yeah, so for growing cactus seeds, I'll take my normal potting mix, and then I'll add a bunch of sand I collected out in the desert, mix it together, and sometimes I'll spray hydrogen peroxide on the seeds, because if the rot comes, often it comes from the seed coat itself. But I don't really microwave. Sometimes I do, but it doesn't seem to help, at least the way I do it. So it's a sandy mix, and they'll stay in there for as long as it takes for them to get, probably two years, maybe longer if they're slow growers. Some cactus seeds, this is another trick, like the Ariocarpus and the Echinocactus, the seed coats are so thick that they don't germinate right away. So I'll use a little bit of 600 grit sandpaper and sort of just use my fat thumb and try to run it along and just rough the seed coat up a little bit, and then that'll help germinate, hopefully. And then you wash it off and you can plant them.
So in order to germinate all these type of cactus, they do require a lot of heat. So we do have a makeshift germination thing right here. So basically it's just some screen cover over a plastic container. And as you can see right underneath there, we do have just a cactus, just with you can see the condensation to get it warm and hot, and it keeps it. They like it like that when they are germinating, and it does allow for a lot better, a lot more results.
Growing cactus from seeds. This is the one way I do it. Shake-quat. I got this plastic dome thing here. The sun, it heats them up. And then there's this, so they don't get too much sun. I have this over it. And then there's plastic. And then they're starting to sprout. Sometimes I have good germination, sometimes I don't. Put this plastic on the top. There's some cactus growing. These are Coryphantha retusas. They were kind of fast sprouters. Usually takes about. I'm gonna take this off for a little while. Let them breathe a little bit. Some people will leave them under plastic permanently. They'll sterilize the soil. I don't do that. They just get a little airflow. You just got to make sure they don't get fungus. I find if you use the right kind of soil, you won't get fungus. If you use soil that's too organic, you may get a fungus outbreak, and then all your seeds will die. So you try to avoid that. Here's some that didn't have the greatest germination yet. These are Mamillarias, Sanchez Mejorade. So I got like 5. But I'm hopeful more will sprout later. Here's another pot. This was sown March 10th, 23 this year. And what's it now? March 25th. So 15 days later, these are Lophoforas. And they're sprouting pretty good. So here's a pot of some tricky ones. I think I see one sprouting. These are Mamillaria herreraes. They're difficult to germinate. They're also difficult to get out of the plant. At night I put them on this heat mat. I don't leave them out. It's too cold at night. So I bring them in, put them on this heat mat. I got these trays. You don't need these trays. On this little chair, and I'm going to put them in these little pots. These two I haven't had any germination yet, and I put them a little bit newer, so they're going to get the full humidity. The other ones I'm going to slowly let dry out a little bit, at least at night. But I don't want them to be too dry, so I have this little sprayer thing. And then I've got this. I got this same dome I use outside. I just put I can get it to fit over. Oops, it's not fitting. I added an extra one, so this is about as many as I can do. There. They'll just sort of be a little bit humid in here. I like to expose them to drier air as soon as I can to prevent fungus and rot. It will slow their growth down a little bit, but if they get fungus and rot, then there's really nothing you can do. You can spray them all day long with fungicide, but it doesn't. It's really almost too late then, so it's best to prevent it in the first place. But that's the way I do it. It's kind of a home. It would certainly not be commercial seed growing. They would use a greenhouse with mass amounts of seeds. This is just small amounts. Okay, here's some seeds that are maybe anywhere from uh, 5 days old. Astrophytum coilensis. They sprout fast. These are extremely rot prone, so I'm a little nervous. The last 2 years they've all rotted off. I hope this time, using a more biologically active soil, they don't rot. These haven't come up yet. Mamillaria lenta, Mamillaria roseocentra, a few came up. These ones are coming up right now. This is a mixture. So mainly I planted Mamillaria herrerae in here, but they're hard to sprout. So one trick I use is I put some Epithelantha micromeris over them, and they started sprouting, and then it started to get the Mamillaria herrerae to sprout. You can barely see them. And they were put 323, so I forget the date. It was like the 18th or something. These are doing well. Coryphantha retusus, it's sort of more typical. I guess not that hard to grow, just slow. And here's some Lopos. Now we had some rot problems here, and these ones just damped off and they're dead. So I'm concerned about this pot having some fungus in it. So when you grow cactus, a lot of people use them in the baggie. I don't, because that just completely rots them. There's different things you can use to try to stop rot. Some people use this. I find it doesn't work. Some people use this. Doesn't work. This stuff here, if you can get with fungicide, they don't sell anymore. This actually kind of works. It's a powder. And then there's this stuff with sulfur. I'm not sure if it works or not. I just started using it a little while ago. The problem is most of these things are mixed with water, and the best way to get rid of, if you don't want them to rot, is you have to dry them out. Now when you dry them out, that checks their growth, so they grow much slower, but they don't rot. So that's the trade-off. Yeah, because I had some rot in here, I'm going to use this paintbrush to pick up this is root tone, and it's got a fungicide that actually works, and it's a dry powder, which I like because I don't want to get them wetter, so I just use this paintbrush. I bought this like 30 years ago. I unfortunately don't know if you could buy with this, but I would say a dry fungicide. Now it's just all buried in fungicide, and hope this nips it in the bud. So at this time, all of them are coming out of the plastic except for these because they haven't sprouted yet. So I'm going to use this screen kind of in place of the plastic, and they're just going to live under this for the next year or so, and they're going to go right in here with these other guys who are a year old. And one of the reasons they grow so slow is I like to grow slow growing cactus, and because I expose them to drier air, it really slows them down. But unless you can guarantee you have no pathogens or fungus, I don't know how else to keep them from rotting.
Alright, so here we have a bunch of cactus ranging from 1 year to 4 years old, ranging from the youngest over here on this side, upwards in age, all grown from seed, as you can see. They've been doing pretty well. A bunch of different types, variety of cactus. We'll go more in depth on which each one are in a bit. And here we have a bunch of older cactus. These are about ranging from 4 years and above. You can see the dates on the side of them. Once again, it's just all bunch of variety. We'll go into depth, but as you can see, they are a little more mature than the other ones. And yeah, we'll go into depth on what they are in a bit.
These plants are from 2020, so they're getting a little bit older, and these ones are still very small, so the screen stays on them. They're from 2022, and that's a year old. June 2022. It's a bunch of Epitholanthas, Gregii, but they're starting to look like adult plants. Next year the screen will come off. Here's some Corypanthas, they go pretty fast. The Epitholanthas are slow. There's some Mammillarias, more Mammillarias, more Mammillarias. Escobaria. These are, don't think these are desert plants. These are, might be hard to grow. I've never grown them before. There's some older ones there. Eventually they go into individual pots, but they don't particularly grow very fast. These kind, outside in these cold frames. So, I mean, some grow faster. Like these from 2020, Echinocereus, pectinatus, they're much faster, but some of the other ones, they're small and they go very slow. These are champion slow growers, Ariocarpus fissuratus from 2014, and they're still pretty small. Here's some lithops from 2022, pretty fast growing compared to some of the cactus I grow. I sowed the seeds of these in the fall. They don't seem to like to grow during the middle of the summer. So I actually kept a record. I've been growing seeds, cactus seeds, for a long time. So I keep a lot of stuff in here. I used to order stuff from Mesa Gardens way back. That's 1995. Look how cheap seeds were. Here's some from 94. I don't know if I even have many of these. Here's some of the first ones I got. Some of these I still have, I think. That one I have two of them. They're pretty big. So this one right here, this Corypantha retusa, SB 544, Oaxaca. 50 cents. These seeds, these plants I grew from seed, and just a year or two ago, finally, after all this time, 20 years, they gave me some seeds, which we have a picture of, 100% germination. So you have to have a lot of patience to grow cactus from seed. Yeah, these are I had a bunch of them, but I kept 3 of the Corypantha retusa. This is what I got. Finally, they flowered and got seeds from. That's over 20 years old. I don't know. I know Ariocarpus grows slow, but I never knew that some of these other cactus are so slow. But yeah, these are the ones, Corypantha retusa. I'm getting seeds, and the germination is excellent.